Happy holidays and welcome to another episode of Fandom X Archive. I am your host, Dinara Tengri, aka Alien Super Soldier. So I went on a little break this month, or past month, because I was going to do NaNoWriMo. It's the project where you're supposed to write 50,000 words in only 30 days in November. You can imagine that it did not go very well, as in I did not meet my word goal. But I will talk about that in my other podcast, which I will be starting in 2024. But more on that later. I hope you've been well this past November. I really missed working on the podcast, even though it was nice to take a little break from podcasting, but at the same time, I felt like something was missing. And when I started working on it again this December, it felt like this was something I was supposed to be doing. It felt right. And there will be no holiday episode. There will be no Christmas episode because, to be honest, I don't know what I would be talking about. I suppose I could read some X-Files Christmas fanfic, but this is not what this podcast is about, really. This podcast is about the fandom and the people in the fandom. But just because we're not doing a Christmas episode doesn't mean that this episode is not special, because it is. I am so excited to share this episode with you because this is my second interview. Last time I interviewed my friend Elise Wax, and this time I interviewed my friend Penny Evans. Penny is a veteran X-Files fan. She has so many stories to tell about being a fan of the show, about being in the fandom, about meeting. I'm not going to spoil anything, but she has a lot of stories to tell. And we've been following each other on Twitter for a long time. And finally, we met in London in November when we got to see David Duchovny in concert. Tangent, I will be talking about the concert and meet and greet with David and how all that went down at a different time. Anyway, Penny and I finally met and we just started talking and we had a great time together, and she said, can I be on your podcast? And I said, well, yes, of course you can be on my podcast. So we got together and we talked on Zoom. We had a lovely, lovely chat. And this is the interview. It's not an interview in the classic sense. It's more just two friends talking about the stuff that they like. We only met recently, but it felt like we've known each other for a long time. So without further ado, here's Penny Evans. Take it away, Penny. So I am here with my good friend, X-Files fan and veteran fan fiction writer, Penny Evans. Penny, why don't you
Hi.
tell us something about yourself?
About myself. Oh boy. Best thing to do is tell you what sort of subject I do. So I'm a trained singer, and I trained in drama college, and in where was I? Salford, near Manchester. I did my A levels in that. I don't know if you know about that in America. Right? Oh no, you're not America, are you? I'm keep thinking you're in America for some strange reason. No, you're in
It must
Sweden.
be the accent.
Yeah. No, I keep thinking you're over in the States. Yeah, so I was born with legs, but they were twisted out of shape. My mum, unfortunately, when she was pregnant with me, she caught the mumps, and they think that's what caused the deformity. So I had to have my let me get this right leg amputated above the knee when I was 3. I don't even remember that. And then at 9 years old, I had to have my foot and part of the leg removed. So I've got below the knee, I've got my knee on that leg on the left, and that had to be removed at 9. Yeah, I remember that. That's not something you ever forget. Yeah. And then I was back and forth in hospital. So a lot of my early life was back and forth. I think when I got to my teens, it was finally free. I was free to be live a normal life. But yeah, when I pursued, I wouldn't let this disability stop me. I'm one of these people that just goes for things and usually gets them if I push hard. Well, no, I don't push actually. I think I've just got a guardian angel on my shoulder. And my mum passed away in 2015, and I know she's on my shoulder. I know she's my guardian angel. And yeah, so I went to drama college because I was really interested in it, and I actually trained in singing as well. So that's how I got my sort of professional, I suppose, side of it. And unfortunately, I couldn't pursue further because I was training to be theatre in theatre studies. So I wanted to carry on doing theatre professionally, but they needed the people to do the dancing as well, and that's where it stopped it for me. So I couldn't continue. But not to worry, because I ended up buying my own gig and going out there, and I actually didn't like the acting as much as the singing. My singing, I preferred to do that. So but yeah, I can sing anything from Phantom of the Opera to Bonnie Tyler's Holding Out for a Hero. I've got that kind of vocal range. So yeah, I ended up buying my own gig stuff and going out there and doing some stuff myself, and making a bit of money here and there. I did open for one professional band once, the Four Tops. Do you remember the Four Tops?
The Four Tops.
They were performing. Yeah, they were performing in Stockport at a hotel where I'd actually gone to do a like X Factor, but they called it the Acton Factor because it was the hotel's own competition, singing competition. And I didn't win, but they took me on. So I got a job there. And then one New Year's Eve, the Four Tops were performing and they asked me to be the warm up. The hotel asked me to be the warm up for them. So yeah, that was fun. So yeah, what else do you want to know? I'm married. I've been married for over, hang on, let me think, 20 years now.
20
yeah,
years.
I've been married for over 20 years. Yeah. He's a lovely guy. He's in bed right now, but we won't go. Well, he works late shifts, so he's actually in bed right now. So, but I did warn him that I might be yapping in a minute, so I'll wake him up. But he said that's all right.
He'll understand. So
He will.
Well,
yeah.
I just want to tell the audience that I did know that Penny was a singer, a professional singer, and when we finally met, when we met, she told me we were at the bar at the Cadogan Hall, and she said that I'm a professional singer. And then she sang to me just a little tiny excerpt from the Phantom of the Opera, and I was just starstruck because I love Phantom of the Opera. And so hearing someone sing it to me live, it was so I was blown away.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't need a lot of singers today need auto tune. I just sing. I don't need a microphone even. I trained properly. So I learned to sing on as if I was singing on a stage. Before they mic'd you up, back in those days, they didn't do that, and you had to learn to project your voice as if you were singing on stage. And I learned to do that. So it's funny actually, because I was in some gala concerts for charity here in my own hometown of Buxton and in Derbyshire. And I was singing at the Opera House with, we used to do once a year, we'd do gala concerts, and we'd get go again celebrities, although I don't know them personally, but we'd get celebrities from Coronation Street and Emmerdale, the soap operas that we
Mm-hmm.
have, and they would come and do their thing, and then we would do tributes to musicals. So I did a lot of songs that way on stage. It was great. Our opera house has got such fantastic acoustics. But then they went, as time went on, they started miking you up, and I'm like, I don't need this bloody microphone. But they said, well, you've got to wear it, because some singers are quiet, you see, and they needed
Yeah.
a microphone to help enhance the voice. And I said, well, look, if you put a microphone on me, I can guarantee you're going to have to turn it right down, because I can sing, I can project my
Yes.
voice. Like, oh, well, you have to wear one. So I put one on, sang a song, they had to turn it. They nearly had to turn it off. I was way too loud with a microphone. I said, well, I did tell you that I didn't need a flipping microphone. So yeah, they had to practically turn it off. It's funny.
I mean, they
So
did
that
know they
was
were
that, yeah.
working with a real professional. So, why don't you tell us how you got into the X-Files when you became a fan? And yeah, so why don't we just start like there, and then we just, we just go through these events.
Right. So, it was really funny actually, because I didn't even know about it. I was into Quantum Leap at the time. And I just told you, I got very into that, knew a lot of the actors, met a lot of the people and staff and blah, blah, blah. I went to the conventions and organised my own convention. One of the actors got to know me. So I brought him over for a convention that I organised. I organised the 10th Quantum Leap convention. So I was very into Quantum Leap. And then a friend of mine, my best girlfriend in this town, she came along and said, hey, have you heard about this series called X-Files? And I'm like, what? No. And she says, oh, well, you see, my friend Denise is very into the psychic. She's very into the supernatural. And she said, and I am too. I love that sort of thing, mystical and unexplained. And I love all that. And especially when it's dark as well. And yeah, so she, I love the dark. And then she says, oh, you should, the pilot's coming on. It's been on, I think America had it a year before us. I think Britain was a year behind, if I remember rightly, because we're going back to 1990. So it'd be 94, I think, because 93 was America.
Yeah.
So in 94, I watched this pilot and I was like, wow, this is good. So I then started recording them on video. Oh God, we're going back, aren't we? Video. So yeah, and I'd started to record them. And I got quite into it, but then at season 5, somehow I just seemed to just not like it as much. And I stopped recording the videos. I was still watching them. I was still giving it a chance. I think also the problem was, oh God, was it Gethsemane? Blimey, I can't believe that came into my head. When Mulder was supposed to have shot himself. And I think it was that one, wasn't it? And
Yes,
it ended where he sort of killed himself. Well, in Britain, it seemed like it was over because it just suddenly went off the screens, and we actually didn't get it back for another year. So we thought the show was over. We thought that was it. Mulder was dead by the end of X-Files. Yeah, we had no idea. And then when it came back, I was like, oh, it's carrying on, right? So, yeah, I had no idea. And, of course, you didn't have computers then that you knew it was still going on in America. You didn't have that communication with as like you do now. You'd know instantly now, wouldn't you, if it was carrying on. But yeah, so we were left in the dark thinking that was it. But I was thrilled when it came back. And so I carried on watching, and yeah, I watched it right to the end. and I was even in Vancouver when they filmed season 10.
You were?
I used to love Vancouver. Yeah, I saw David filming. Yep, as Mulder. Yep, and my favorite of all the flipping episodes, it was my favorite one. It was the create writer Glenn Morgan. He is my favorite, and it was his actual episode. I think it was Mum again, shining down on me, because I'd actually gone to Vancouver. Well, I used to go a lot. I used to go with her. She
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go and see Vancouver. She'd fallen in love with it. And she said, Dad won't go, so will you come with me? I'll pay for you. I said, hey, yeah. And I'd heard about the X-Files tour. So, and it was still going when I went over there in 2000, hang on, when was it? 2004. Yeah, that was the first time I went to Vancouver. And I found the tour, and I made friends with the guy who ran it, and we became friends. And he even let me stay in the apartment. Well, he offered, but I'd already booked a hotel. But he said I could have stayed in the actual apartment that was Scully's in Pendrell Suites, because he owned it, you see. And I met his mum, and it was his mother. It was her apartment that they loaned out to the X-Files. Yeah. And I got to the all-round Pendrell suites. I sat in the room. I sat in Scully's apartment. Yeah. And he then put a video on of the X-Files where Mulder and Scully were in Scully's apartment. We're sat, my friend and I were sat in the apartment watching them in the apartment on the episode. That was really surreal that I'm sat here. I'm sat in the actual apartment they filmed in. Yeah. So that was 2004. Yeah, and then I went back again with Mum 2 more times. And she wanted to go back when she was ill, and she couldn't. And so my husband, bless him, Pete, he just says, well, why don't you, we're cremating her, why don't you take her ashes to Vancouver so she can be there forever? Canada were great. The Canadian consulate were fantastic. I sorted it out over Twitter with them, took Mum's ashes and scattered her on Grouse Mountain. So, and I love Grouse Mountain. It was our favourite spot. And yeah, she was
Now
wonderful.
she's in Vancouver forever.
She's in Vancouver forever. She did get back there forever, for eternity. She's in an absolute paradise. Because if have you ever been to Vancouver? If you go to the top of
not Vancouver.
Grouse Mountain, well, you'll know the mountain because it was Skyland Mountain in X-Files. It's the one Mulder went up in the cable car, and I saw that actual bit where David the daft nit hung off that cable car, and he wasn't joking. There's a sheer drop below.
Oh,
I thought, my God, the man was insane to do that stunt.
Oh,
so, well, we know he's insane, but yeah, bless him. but yeah, but then when I went over in I've seen X-Files twice, because I went in 2007. Was it when they were filming I Want to Believe? It was only because I'd met this lass from Hollywood. She used to work in Hollywood, and she was actually a PA. No, she wanted PA, but she was working when they did Biogenesis, and that was my favourite episode, the Sixth Extinction trilogy. And David knows that. Yeah, because he said he prefers Mulder to be sane in most cases. Yeah, that's when we were chatting, but yeah, I'll get to that. But yeah,
and we're back with Penny. As I was just telling Penny, the reason we're doing this is because I refuse to pay for Zoom, and the free version only lets you to talk for 40 minutes. So here we go.
Yeah, I don't pay for it either. I don't pay for it either, so no. Right, okay.
Yes.
So where was I? Oh yeah, Vancouver. So yeah, the first time I was involved with the X-Files was because this friend of mine who used to be work in Hollywood. She was a professional photographer, and she left Hollywood because she hated it. And but she always wanted, she was an X-Files fan. I met her through online somehow. I can't remember exactly where. But yeah, we met up, and she wanted to go to Vancouver. So I said, well, I've been, so I can show you the X-File locations. I know them all just about. So I've been to them all. So yeah, so she came with me. We knew I Want to Believe was being filmed, but we didn't know where. And now here's the weird thing again. Strange things that go on in my life. We were staying in a hostel. When we got there, we learned from the internet that, well, we learned from the guy at the hostel actually, because when we got downstairs in the morning, we went to speak to the guy who runs the hostel, and he says, "Oh, the X-Files are filming round the corner." From the hostel. And I'm like, oh my God. so, but we had missed David. David and what's the name? Flipping it. What's the name?
Jillian.
Not Jillian. The one.
No? Amanda, right? Amanda Bynes?
Amanda Pete. Yeah, Amanda Pete.
Yes.
Because I actually saw them on stage in New York when he was in that play. But yeah, yeah, Amanda Pete and he were filming the day we arrived in Vancouver, and we were absolutely tired out and went to bed. So we didn't know they were filming around the corner that very night when we were in the hostel, literally round the corner. So I was that close to him then and never met him. So I wasn't meant to meet him then. but I did speak to one of the staff. In fact, we hung out with the crew till 5 a.m. while they were filming inside the building on Homer Street. That medical building in I Want to Believe was a Salvation Army building on Homer Street. They were filming inside there. Then they did the scene where the two vehicles pull up, and then Mulder was supposed to get out with Amanda Pete. Well, they'd done their scene the night before, so they weren't there. But it was so funny because we had to keep quiet because they were calling themselves Done One, not the X-Files. And we weren't allowed to say anything to do with the X-Files. We weren't allowed to mention the actors' names. But they got on with us so well because my friend worked in Hollywood. She knew the jargon. She knew how to communicate with them. So they were dead friendly with us. And then this guy came up. He says, that guy you were hoping to meet, meaning David, that guy you were hoping to meet isn't coming now. They'd set up a shot down the hill. It was that one when Mulder runs down the hill in the movie. They'd set it all up, but it was like nearing 5 a.m, so I don't think they wanted to get him out of bed and say, David, come and film this scene running down a hill. It's a bit, he probably would tell them where to go. Yeah. So he didn't come down, but I got chatting with one of the PAs. He was so nice, and I took a chance. So I've got to mention now that I met David online in the past undercover, because I actually told this guy, and I thought he's going to think I'm completely nuts, or and how the hell do you know it's him undercover? Do you know, he just accepted it. He says, I've got to get David to meet you. But unfortunately it didn't happen, and I thought, so it could have been him undercover then, because this guy seems to accept it. So
I still never ever knew. This thing completely. All the time.
He's a teasing little so-and-so, and I hope he sees this, teasing little swine. Right, yeah. But I got my absolute full confirmation in just recently, I think. So he teased me every time I met him. I know he's but yeah, so we did see a bit of it being filmed. We saw Chris Carter as well. He walked up the hill and he had his dog Larry with him. He was walking Larry, the black poodle, and we just said hi, and he said hi, and that was that. And we just said, what's your dog's name? And he went Larry, and then he carried on into the building. Although one of the crew did come up and say, don't you think you'd be warmer inside the building? And we're like, what? I said, well, aren't you extras for the X-Files? I said, we were very honest. We said no. We could have said, oh yeah, we'll come and be extras. No, we were very, very honest, and we said no. It was tempting, but we said no. So we were out in the freezing cold with some of the crew. You see, they had to stay outside in the freezing cold while they filmed inside. So I do not feel, I feel for these PAs and these crew members that have to wait outside. And then one of the ladies in the crew went to the craft services. We weren't obviously allowed to have anything of that, but she brought us back a Ferrero Rocher each. So that was very kind. So right, the second time I saw the X-Files was 20. Hang on, when the hell were they doing whenever they were filming season 10?
2015?
Yes, 2015. And I went across with a friend I knew online and another American, and she just was interested to get in seeing Vancouver for the first time. And yeah, we went over. Now we knew, well, I kind of knew, this is when they were doing that, they were on, David was on Twitter then. That really was David to begin with. Yeah, David was on Twitter. And so he was kind of letting everybody know where they were. And I thought, is this wise? So, yeah, to the point where, I don't know if you remember, but he was in his hotel and he showed his book binder of the script, and he put the hotel key cards over his name. And I thought, you twit, people are going to know which hotel you're in. We did actually go in that hotel, and I thought he won't be in there. Somebody will have made him go somewhere else. But I got chatting to one of the. She was from London actually, and she was working as a waitress. And I got chatting with her and explained how I'd met him online and everything else. And he liked me right. Well, he liked this first fiction of mine then, and I said he's not. Don't happen to be here, does he? Because I very much doubt it. And she says, oh no, he was here, but he left. And I said, yeah, I wonder why. Because he put his hotel key cards on there for everyone to see on Twitter. So, yeah, so after I'd scattered Mum's ashes, oh no, hang on, we went down to the set first. Yeah, we saw them. We were up in the harbour. No, what's it called? Tower? Harbour Tower, I think it is, on the big tower near top of Gastown. And everyone films around that sort of area, Gastown. So everyone who is making stuff in, shows who go over to Canada always film around that area. And we were in the tower, and we saw these. It was at night, and we saw these lights, really bright lights, down in one of the streets. And I thought, oh, I wonder if that's them. So we actually did go down, and they got the tent set up. It was the opening of Act 2, when the homeless were in the tents, and it's the beginning. No, it's the opening scene. It was the opening scene, but for some reason they'd stopped filming. Something, I don't know what had gone wrong, but anyway, they had to cancel. But I got chatting to one of the crew members, and Steve. I remember Steve. Yeah, and I gave him a data disc with some of the chats I'd had with David and some few fans. It was a very intimate little chat room back in those days. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have Twitter. We had little intimate chat rooms.
What did you remember the name?
Mulder's Refuge. Yeah, Mulder's Refuge.
Mulder's Refuge. I have to look it up.
It's gone. It went years ago.
No.
Yeah, but no, it's gone. And he left anyway. I think there was a reason for it, but I don't know if I should get into that. But okay. It was nothing to do with me. But yeah, it was to do with jealousy. Anyway, we won't go into it. But yeah, so you fans, sometimes. Yeah, so
Oh, I know.
you get them now and again. Yeah. So I won't say who and I won't put her in it. So no.
We know
but
the type. We know the type.
yeah, you know the type. So yeah, so David ended up leaving, and then the site ended up going down eventually. And but yeah, he amazing. Here we go again. The strange. He amazingly found it just by pure fluke, and so did I. And I had no idea. I know. At first, we'd no idea it was him because he was under a pseudonym, and playing it really cool to begin with. Because he actually came in a year before I joined. But I was just looking for a website where I could share, because it was to do with fiction, and I'd written fiction for other shows. I've gone way off track here now. I was in Vancouver a minute ago.
No, this is
sorry,
all good. This is all good. It's all part of the same story.
Okay, so well, I'll go back to Vancouver first as well. So yeah, so I'd met this Steve and I'd given him this disc to give to David, and then I was up in I'd gone up Grouse Mountain with my friend, and we were having something to eat in the canteen, and then she looked across and she saw Steve. I thought, what were the chances of that? So we went over and said, excuse me, did we see you last night on the X-Files site? You're Steve, aren't you? And he says, yeah. He had a photo with me and my friend. And I said, you didn't give that disc to David, did you? And he says he passed it on. Now, I thought, oh, good, that's cool. Yeah, I found out later on David hadn't got a clue what the hell we was talking about, because I mentioned it to him when I met him in Glasgow. Because I didn't meet David. I was really good. I saw him filming. He didn't come over to the crowd while we were there. I saw him filming for about 3 hours. It gets very boring because they do the same thing over and over and over again, such as filming. And after you've seen Mulder come out of a building and go around a corner for 3 hours, it just gets a bit boring, and you can't even hear what the hell they're saying because it's over the road. Yeah. So, but I did get a glimpse of that guest star and the two guest stars in that episode, Home Again. And I saw Glenn Morgan as well.
Oh,
and this is, but unfortunately, well, at the time I was tweeting, but I have a computer. I don't have a mobile phone I don't have an iPhone. My mobile phone is very basic. So, I didn't know. I'd been tweeting Glenn Morgan before X-Files came back, because he'd done this show called, with John Sim, another actor I've met. John was he was the master in Doctor Who, and he was also in Life on Mars, the British Life. Yeah, the Life on Mars series, and yeah, so he was in an episode called, not episode, it was a series. What was it called? I've forgotten the name. Oh, that's great. It's gone out of my head. And Glenn will love this. I can't remember the name of his series. Hang on. Intruders. Yeah, Intruders. And I loved it. And they only made one season. And Glenn was pretty peed off that BBC Two didn't take him on for a second season. In fact, he must have known X-Files was coming back then, because he tweeted and I said, oh, well, mystery and nobody wants it anymore. They want everything there and then. Everything's got to be there. You can't have any mystery or any, like that. Yeah. And he says, and I said, I don't think I didn't even know. I said, I don't think X-Files would have a chance these days. And he said to me, oh, I don't know, because of Mulder and Scully. He must have known it was coming back, but he couldn't tell me. He must have known. Yeah, he couldn't tell me. But he did tell me his favourite place in Gastown to eat is the Spaghetti Factory, and it's exactly the same one I go to.
Spaghetti Factory. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, the Spaghetti Factory in Gastown. Oh, it's fantastic. Brilliant Italian food. And Italian is my favourite. So, yeah, so... he had actually tweeted me and I didn't know, and he tweeted saying you could have come over. So I didn't know, so I never went over, and I could have met Glenn, and so I never ever got to meet Glenn, and I do regret that. And And I thought, oh well, I'm not going to meet David either. He's not coming over. He's filming. I'll leave him, and I would not interfere. I would not unless I was asked. Um,
Yeah.
Unlike some fans I know, but I wouldn't do that. Um, so the next year, was it the following year? 60, yeah. That was when David decided he was coming to Glasgow to do his first gig. But before that, I'm the first. Shall we go into when I met him now? The first time I met him was 2010. 2010, because he was doing his play, Break of Noon, and I bought the script book because I was interested to know what it was all about. And I thought, oh, this is dark and something gritty to get your teeth into. So I thought, oh, this is good. I want to see this. And I thought, it's his first ever stage play. I've got to see him. Yeah, in 2010, I said to Pete, right, well, I do want to see David on stage. I've never seen him on stage. I'd be curious to see what he's like. And so we went for a week to New York. And I was going to meet my friend. This is some bit of sad news. Unfortunately, she got a blood clot in her leg, and they didn't catch it in time, and she died.
Oh, I'm
and
so
she
sorry.
was in her early 50s. It's okay. She was in her early 50s, but we were on the phone with her the week before. No, when we got to New York, we were staying in Jersey by the airport, New Jersey, and we were on the phone with her, and Pete was making her laugh, and she actually said to me, "I know you. You're going to meet David," and she was right. But yeah, and but then a week later, when we got home, sister emailed me and said she died. She had to go back into hospital. But at least we had that laugh with each other on the phone before that happened. So we ended on a nice note. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that. I didn't even think she was going to get it. I thought she was going to get and maybe it was medical negligence. The sister thought that, but that they didn't catch the blood clot in time, and it just choked her, and it killed her. Anyway, so now we go on to that. Right, okay, so but she predicted what happened. Yeah. I went to see the play. It was surreal. It was crazy, to be honest, because he was effing and blinding on this stage. Because after the show, and Amanda Peet was with him, and they were together. They were brilliant on the show. And I've got the audio of the play. Somebody recorded it. I didn't, but somebody did and shared it with me. So I have the actual audio recording of the whole entire play, which is fantastic to keep as memories. Yeah. Not the night I was there, but at least I have a recording of it. And so I was waiting outside, and the lady who was one of the staff, she came out and she started closing the doors, and we thought, he's not coming out. And she says, oh no, his family's here. He's just seeing the family. He's going to be out in a minute. Well, I've got to tell you a funny story. My husband had gone off. He wasn't interested. He didn't go to the play, but even though Pete had chatted with David in the past online, but he was never sure it was him, then. But he wasn't bothered about seeing this play, so he'd gone off down up the street somewhere. So that he came and joined me and my another girlfriend of mine, Tessia, her name was. And at the time that year, I was involved. I'd left Mulder's Refuge behind, and I was with the House of David Duchovny. I don't even think that's around anymore now, but might be. I don't know. I don't go there. But they were raising money. They'd done it for Frank Spotnitz, another one I've met. But yeah, they'd done it for Frank Spotnitz, and they got a teddy bear going around the world, and whoever got the teddy bear raised money in any way they could. Well, I said, well, I sing, so I organised a gig, and I did a charity gig with a raffle and karaoke, so people paid to sing and the money went to UNICEF. Well, David had heard of it, the site, not UNICEF, obviously knows UNICEF, the website. He'd heard of the website House of David Duchovny. he'd heard about it, and he'd obviously spoken to the people running it and said, "Oh, make it for UNICEF." So I did this gig, and then a friend of mine, just for fun, recorded it, and this was 2010, May, and then after I'd done all that, and I raised about just over a couple £100 that night, and it wasn't a very big place, so we didn't have that many people, so we did pretty well with the raffles and everything, raising the money. And yeah, so that very same year, David decides he's doing that play, because I found out on Twitter or Facebook or whichever, and so I said, Pete, we've got to go and do I've got to go and see this play. So I took a copy of this UNICEF gig I'd done, put it into American format, took it with me, put it in his hand. And yeah, because I met him. He came out the doors. It was so amazing. My husband came back from whatever he was doing, and he'd actually gone to a gay bar up the street and met these friendly lesbians. But anyway, my husband is the right one. And anyway, he came back just as David was stepping out the door. Again, brilliant timing. He grabbed my camera, and Pete started taking photographs. And he's actually got that you've probably seen it, that one where I'm hugging David. He got the photo of it.
Yes, I remember that.
And yeah. I think I don't think he was expecting me to just chuck my arms around him, but and he was a bit what? but then he got talking to me. And he got talking to me, and I gave him the DVD, and we showed him the bear. Oh, this is because, yes, the friend who was with me at the time had the bear. She was in New Mexico, I think, and she got the bear on the day we were going to see David, and I said, bring it with you, we can get the bear on the website with David. And yes, did that as well. Oh, David was great. He posed with the bear. He wanted to take the bear home with him. I said, you can't, he's making money for UNICEF. Oh, he was not happy. He says, I can't keep him. I said, no, you can't have him. He's got to make money for UNICEF.
No, you had to say no to David.
He did get it. He did get it eventually. They did, the website lot got it to him eventually. But Hoddy Bear was House of David Duchovny, so it's Hoddy Bear. And so I'd given him this disc, and then we got talking, and then I took a chance, as I do, and I said, you met me online. Well, he didn't say yes or no to this. And I looked at him, I said, you read one of my fictions called Lost Within? And I said, well, it came third in Mulder's Refuge, but I said it actually won for hang on, I'm wearing it. I'm wearing the X-Files fanfic contest 2009 category winner. It won for I don't know if you can see it. Hang on a minute. Hang on, I'll just show you the front of it. Yes. Right, okay. There you go. Is it that?
The X-Files fanfic contest 2009 category winner. Amazing.
Yeah. And these are unique body warmers. They were only for the people who won. And nobody else has got one. I've got on the back, I've got the whole, hang on, I'll see if I can show the back of it. Hang on.
Yep, I see it. Yep. Yes. Oh, yeah. You look like a crew member. You look like a crew member of the X-Files.
Well, I actually wore that. I actually wore it when I was doing the gig as well. So David would have seen that and all when I was wearing it in New York. I wanted to show him because I said, I showed him. It was funny. I wanted to show him because I wanted to say, that story you read, on the cover. It won as alternative universe category, and I won this. As I said, I got this body warmer. Well, I've got my leather jacket over the top of it.
Oh, like
so I just let go. Just pulled it out and I went, "Here, David." Take a load of this. I just opened the jacket and went, this is it. And he stepped back and he went, wow, look at you.
I mean,
it's my
make minds think alike because I also wore a leather jacket when I went to see him in London. I don't think he
And you did
understood
the
that I
same
was being
thing.
cry checked, but that was the idea. I was wearing
Yeah,
my cry check
yeah,
jacket.
yeah, yeah. You said you were going to do that. What did
Yeah.
you do that?
No,
Did
I
you
did not.
flash?
Next
Why
time,
did you
next
say
time.
that? And you know, I did it so innocently. I didn't do it deliberately. I just went, here, this is my body warmer. And he just went, wow, look at you. So then I said, the story won. And he looked at me then and he went, that's so great. And I thought, that was you on the cover on that chat room. You've got, and he wouldn't actually tell me. He just said that was so great. So I still haven't got that full confirmation, but I had a pretty strong feeling it had been him, because I thought, well, where else could he have read the bloody story? It was only available in Mulder's Refuge. So, although they did go into fanfiction, like websites called ephemeral, because one time when I was chatting and I said to him I'd written this story called Key to the Kingdom. Well, he'd read Lost Within, so he said, when are we going to see Key to the Kingdom? Is it up at ephemeral? And he was kidding. I know. That was back when we were chatting. I mean, I'd stopped chatting when I met him in 2010. But yeah, so that was the first time my experience with David. And then the second time would have been, the year after I'd seen the X-Files filming and I Want to Believe. And I tried to get in London, and I was trying for a meet and greet, and they ran out. They'd run out. They'd actually cheekily let it go the day before without telling anyone, so they'd nearly all gone. Well, the meet and greets had all gone. And I thought, oh, well, I'm not going to get to meet him. Then a friend of mine online from the house of David Duchovny, Paulina, she just messages me. She says, Glasgow are opening up more meet and greet. Quick, get in, grab one. So I went straight to their site and just got the last one. Talk about skinny your teeth. And so when I met him in Glasgow, I then said to him, I'd given him the DVD. I said, I don't know if you'll remember that far back, it's 2010. 6 years later, I said, I'm the one that did that UNICEF gig and I gave you the DVD. Well, he looked me straight in the eye, shook my hand and said, it's so very nice to meet you again. Oh, blimey, how many times have you watched the DVD? That was lovely. That was really nice. And it was the disc. It was the disc, because I said, did you get that disc? This guy, I said, Steve gave it you, as if he'd know who the hell Steve was. It's because my friend who was with me, he was a fella, and he went, I don't recall getting that one, so I don't think Steve did pass it on to him.
No.
But I thought, I'm going to get this flipping disc to you somehow. But yeah, so then I'd given him, because he'd said about the DVD, when I knew I'd given him the DVD in New York. So I gave him a CD demo of mine, and I'd given it him, and he got it in his hand, and he went, well, I've got this one. So, and then, it was my first experience seeing him perform. I was right near the back, because I'm disabled. They'd actually got a disabled section where you could sit at a table, so that was kind of nice, because my friend went and got drinks, and we were sat at a table, but not too far. It was a good view of the stage, but we weren't close to the stage. But yeah, that was my first experience with that. And then what was next? 16 was the Glasgow gig.
Yes.
Yeah, and then 2019 was when they came to Manchester, which surprised me. Brad had been asking, hadn't he, online, where they'd like us to, them to gig in countries in Europe. So I suggested Manchester, and lo and behold, they came to Manchester.
Wow.
And
that's some influence.
there's a couple that are in America that did the Duchovny acts. Do you know them?
Yes.
Loris and Walt. Yeah, I met them. They came to Manchester, so I got to finally meet them. And of course, they're professional. They work in that's their business. Yeah, they do a children's improvisation thing,
Wait
don't
a
they?
minute.
They
Walt
teach
and
children.
Larice?
Walton and Larice, yeah,
I
Laura,
met
Laura, I
them.
call
I've
her
met
Loris.
them. Yes, I know them.
Yeah, oh, they're lovely people, great
Yes.
people. Yeah, they're
Yes,
really
yes.
nice.
Yes, they're wonderful.
I mean, I stay in touch with Loris quite a lot on Twitter. So yeah, and yeah, so I was glad they came to Manchester because I finally got to meet them. And yeah, I mean, they're in his film. They're in the start of his movie. What's it called? The one that we're not seeing yet. That I wish that I don't know when it'll go worldwide. Brad said they'd let us know, but Bucky effing
Bucky
Dent,
effing
that
Dent.
one.
Yes. Oh, they're
Yeah,
in it.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. They're in it right
Now
at
I
the
have to see
start.
it.
Yeah, yeah. And they were getting, Loris was getting flack for it. It's crazy, isn't it? It really is
I
insane
know. I
because
mean,
they're
it's the
professional.
part of the fandom that just ruins it for everybody.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It really does. And that she can't even say it herself that she can't say it on Twitter because she gets flack. She gets all
Yes.
this crap aimed
She
at her.
gets
It's
flack for
ridiculous.
saying that she was mistreated by the fandom.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah. She's got no right to be in
yeah.
this film. Excuse me, she's a
Yeah.
professional actress. You know, she's
Yes,
professional.
exactly.
I
That's
actually
it.
said,
She's an actress.
I actually said, did he pay you? I hope he flipping paid you. You're a professional.
Yes.
Oh, yes, he did. Oh, good. He didn't do it for free. So, right. No, she should, yeah, they should get paid. Yeah, of course. It's their profession. So, yeah,
Yes.
they rely on it, don't they? So, I suggested to Brad Manchester. Yeah, they came to Manchester. And I know there were a few more people that did say, come to Manchester. There weren't that many, but I'm glad they did because they had a great time. I thought they might go to I suggested the Apollo Theatre, but they might have been too big. They look for smaller venues, don't they, really? So, yeah, so I saw him in Manchester, and this time I got to the front of the stage. Well, I managed to get a ticket with another friend, Chris. He lives here. He came along with me because he just jokingly said to me once, "Oh, I'd love to see David Duchovny, but you know, if he comes to Manchester, ha ha ha, yeah, if he comes to Manchester, yeah, I'll come and see him." I said, "Chris, David's coming to Manchester." He's like, "What?" Like, it's true. He's coming to Manchester. Are you coming with me? So yeah, Chris came with me, and I got a ticket. So he was like a carer. He was I chose him as my carer, so he got a free pass because what they did was then and you pay for the one meet and greet and then your carer goes free. So we just split the price.
Yeah.
But he was given a ticket where he ended up dead center. We were actually on the front row of the theatre. It's their theatre in the college, and but Chris said, "Well, you can have my ticket." So I was dead center, right on the aisle, so I could. Yeah, yeah. I got up and went down and ended up down right at the front at the end. And Chris followed, joined me as well, to make sure I wasn't falling over. Well, my worry is when I'm in crowds of people, they don't know I'm disabled, so they can just knock me and I could go flying. You say I'm a bit shaky. I could fall on my legs sometimes. So balancing. So if somebody hits me, you know, I can just fall over. So Chris made sure I got down there all right. And oh yeah, one vivid memory I have is when David did Let It Rain, but he did it as an acoustic. And we didn't get it this time, did we? They didn't do
No.
it. He didn't do it in London, did they?
No.
But he did let it rain, but as an acoustic, and it was lovely. And I was right at the front, just looking up at him. I was looking up at him while he sang it. So, well, it's such a beautiful, poignant song, isn't it? It's touching, and like he says, lots of his songs are sad. Yeah, so um, yeah, and I was there also when he took his shirt off. Yeah, um, uh, I think that clip's gone all viral. Yeah, I mean the fans just seem to just want to see that of Manchester.
He teased
I
us. He
carefully had to.
teased us in London with
Oh, I
you know, he
know.
would.
Oh, I know.
That
I
was
know.
not
I
nice
know.
of him.
I know. Well, at the end of this one in Manchester, he came out wearing a Manchester United
Oh.
shirt on, and some of the fans weren't thrilled because we've got Man City as well. My husband supports.
Oh.
He'd have gone up there and punched him. so, yeah. And oh, speaking of my husband, I've got to tell you a funny story. Going back to 2010 when we met him in New York. Well, my husband and he used to tease online when David was undercover, and then in New York, we didn't know. My husband was joking about he loves horror movies, and he was joking saying he was going to create this movie. He was just being silly about the DeWalt power tools of how to kill people with all the different ways with DeWalt power tools, and he was going to call it the House of DeWalt, the House of D. Well, we had no idea at the time David was going to make a movie called The House of D. And in New York, Pete actually said, "You stole my title." And he went, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry, but my movie isn't about power tools." Oh, it was so funny. And he had a right laugh with him. He slapped him on the back. He says, "Hey, Dave, you're all right, mate." And David looked at me and he went, "I don't know this guy." You know, they probably thought, "Who the hell is that?" I said, "It's all right, Dave. I've been married to him for 5.5 years. You're perfectly safe." And then he signed his cap. He signed his cap for him in the end. So oh, Dave. And my friend had drawn, she was an artist, she'd drawn this beautiful picture of David, and Pete thought he wanted to sign it. So she was actually giving it to him, but Pete then went, he put his hands out on the glass doors of the theatre, outside the theatre, stuck his backside out and said, "Sign here." So, but the trouble was, we were in Greenwich Village. Well, it's renowned for its homosexual status, you know, and there's my husband sticking his arse out at David Duchovny saying, "Sign here." Oh my God. He probably thought some guy just wandered in and was trying to accost him or something. Oh, dear. That's when he said, I don't know this guy." Help. Get me out of here. And that's what I said. Sorry, I'm making you choke. So I said, yeah, I said, "It's all right. I've been married to him 5.5 years. I know what he's like." But yeah, then he warmed to him, yeah, and signed his cap. Yeah. So right, that was just a funny incident with my husband. So right now, where am I? Manchester. Yeah, so that was great because I got down to the front. So and then I met him again, but I met him online. Amazingly, it's like come full circle. But this time it's him because he did a book Zoom regarding his book. Oh God, don't forget his book. Yeah, I'm supposed to be a dedicated fan here. Truly Like Lightning. And
yes.
yeah,
I have that one
did
too.
a book Zoom, and I was one of the.
Oh.
guess who gets chosen? So I'm out 56. Yeah. Fate again. So yeah. So I got. So I actually reminded him of something that happened in Manchester, and he did grin. So I think he remembered. It was where in the meet and greet in Manchester. And oh, hang on, I met him before that. What am I on about? No, I went to that. It was before Manchester. Another friend of mine, Mel. She got in touch with me. She lives in London. She says, "Guess who's coming to London?" And I said, "Who?" She says, "David." I said, "What for?" He said, "Oh, he's at the Comic Con." I said, "Oh my God, well, I've already booked the concert for Manchester." Right, okay. So I thought this is a way of getting this disc to him finally with everything on. So yeah, I gave it to him. I gave him a copy of Lost Within, and I was the first one to see him as well in London. It was because I'd gone up to the table an hour before the meeting thing. Oh, we'd had a photo, and I said it's lovely to see you again, and he said it's nice to see you again, and we had a photo, and then yeah, I went up to the table, and they said, "Oh, he's not coming yet," but I said, "Well, I'm disabled, I can't queue up." So they said, "Right, we'll just get here at 1. Get here at 1, and we'll put you in on a seat so you can see him." What I didn't know was they'd set up this like booth thing, and all the fans were waiting outside of this booth. They took me into the booth, sat me down right at the table. So when David walked in, I'm the first one to see him. And again, and thank you, Fate. And yeah, and I gave him a copy of Lost Within then, and I was really cheeky because this is the first time I'd given it to him printed. You see, he'd read it online, so I gave him it printed. And I thought, yeah, I'm still not giving up that knowing it were you and undercover. So I gave him a printed copy, and I wouldn't say it directly to him because I thought he'll just get his back up, So I just did it very cleverly, and I gave him this disc. And on it, I'd put his actual code name, initials. He had two initials, two, blah 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 blah. Love Penny. And I thought, and he looked at it, and I thought he's going to either think, "Why the hell have you put this?" Because if it wasn't him undercover, he'd think, what the heck's this? And he just looked at the lady next to him, and he went, "Could you just put this to one side for a moment?" And I thought, yeah, it were you. He's still So anyway, on this disc, so now he's got to, next time I see him, he's got to admit it, because now on this disc were some of the chats we'd had in the past, some of the really crazy, nutty. Well, I've shared some of it with you.
Some of them, yes, I love
them.
them.
Bananas off the planet lunatic chats we had, and but then also when he was praising my story, which was nice, of Lost Within, yeah, so I shared them, and then I also put some more of my fiction on. So I put everything on except Apocalypsis because I hadn't written that one yet. That's why you got that one recently. But yeah, so I put it all on there on that disc, and another an open mic night I did where I was singing. One of the songs I was singing was Wild Horses. Now, I didn't know at the time it was one of his favourites. I'd just done it. Again, God, it's weird, these connections. I'd just done so one of the songs in this open mic nights I used to go and do with a friend on guitar. We did Wild Horses. And so it was on this disc. And then it was when I got home, I learned from fans online that somebody had actually asked him in London. I didn't know him. They'd asked in London, and they asked him what his favourite Rolling Stones song was, and he said Wild Horses, and I'm like, oh my God. I've actually shared that with him to watch he hear me sing it. So there you go. Yeah, I do. Obviously, I don't do the Rolling Stones version. I'm not very good at Mick Jagger. No, I do the it's the Sundays version, the female version, obviously. But I love that song. So yeah, so that was the London experience, and I mean, I actually think out of all the photographs, it's my favourite one of him and me. You've seen it, because I'm actually wearing a TARDIS t-shirt. It's a t-shirt with the TARDIS on with Mulder and Scully, which is
Right.
unusual. Yeah. Yeah, it's Mulder and Scully with the TARDIS. It's
Yeah,
called the
I've seen
Agents.
that design. I love that design.
Yeah, I bought it. And Peter Capaldi, who I met for the first time, Doctor Who, he loved it. He went, "Wow, that's unusual." I said, "Yeah, it's Mulder and Scully." He said, "Oh, so cool." David never mentioned it, but I did sort of, when we were in Glasgow, they actually videoed us meeting David. Everyone in Glasgow got a short video clip. I thought they were taking photographs, but it was a video. Didn't tell us, but it was a video. And then they just put Hello High Water over the top of it, so you couldn't hear what was being said, but I can lip read. But at one point in the video, he did glance down at my chest. I think he saw the T-shirt, he saw the TARDIS. He never said anything about it, but I did hear he used to like Doctor Who or something. So yeah,
He knew.
so that's why
He
I
knew.
wore it. Oh, he knew. So yeah, so that we're at the Zoom now, weren't we? Yeah, so I was Zooming with him, and that's when I reminded him of what I'd said in that's it. It's come to me now. While I was talking about everything else, it's come to me now. It was my name. That was it. Well, Brad knew my name because we'd communicated a bit. We'd done DMs on Twitter and a few things, and he said. Well, we had to write a name down so that David knew what name to sign. You see, so
Right.
and Brad looks at my name and goes, Lenny, huh? And then for some reason, David and Jenny. So he goes, but this is when, this is when I gave him. I'd heard about his interest in. He said if he was to choose a religion, it would be Buddhism. So I knew he was interested in that sort of thing. And I took him a picture of Chen Raisi, the Buddha of compassion, and I gave it to him. And he was so taken with it. He says, "Let's have another photograph." Puts his arm back around me and have a photograph with him. I thought, well, I didn't give it to have a photograph with it, but anyway, never mind. That was personal, I was giving it to him, but he goes, "Let's have a photo with this." So then he had to sign something, so I bought the photograph from London with the T-shirt on, TARDIS T-shirt, and he put the pen on the photo and he does a line and he went, "Jenny, right?" And I went, "No, it's Penny." And he went, "Can I swear?" He went, "Penny shit." And I said, "No, not Penny shit." And he made him laugh. Penny shit. Oh, no, not Penny shit. Then he wrote Penny and he went, "Where's this from?" I said, "London." And he went, "Oh, yeah."
Come on, David. Come on.
So he's probably tired.
I mean,
because jet lag. I know. Jet lag from flying back America to England is your worst jet lag. Flying to America, it's not
flying
so bad.
To America is fine. It's fine. I don't get jet lag when I'm flying to America. Coming back is a different story. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it bad. So it's probably jet lag, poor soul.
Probably.
Yeah. So
but then
I reminded him.
Just to clarify, Brad is, for those who don't know, Brad is David's musical manager, right?
Music manager.
Yeah.
He's music manager. Yeah. So I reminded him of the book Zoom. I reminded him of the exchange of my name, and and he laughed. So I don't know if he remembered it or not. He did laugh, and then I got to ask him a question. Asked him this very deep question that he didn't actually want to answer. He says, "These are good questions, but I don't feel I can answer them." Oh well, then he rambled on and on about how he went on and on about how he doesn't put himself in his stories, and I'm thinking, most authors do, but anyway, I do. But yeah, I don't think he was trying to be No. He was trying to sort of disassociate himself from some of the stuff he'd put in his book. I mean, his books are fantastic. I mean,
They are.
I actually did find out about his writing before he even wrote. I've read some of his writing before he even wrote his first book, so I knew, and I'm not going to tell you in depth, but yeah, I am. I can't say where and I can't say how.
Well, better that
yeah,
remain a mystery, but you knew that he was a good
mystery.
writer before he knew it himself.
No, I fell in love with his writing then. I did actually say when he had a blog for House of D, I said you should write a book, and I'm glad he did. And then he wrote, hang on, how many's written 5 now, and or 6. Hang on, Holy Cow is my favorite. Because it was his
Holy Cow, Bucky effing Dent, Miss Subways, Truly Like Lightning, The Reservoir, and Kepler, which is a graphic novel. So that's 6.
I've got them all. I've got
me
them all.
too.
Well, he's got mine. He's got all mine. I've got all of his. Sure, like. But I did say to him in London, I tried to get Lost Within. I actually readapted. I don't know if you'd be interested in reading. It's called Escape to an Eden. It's readapted from Lost Within, but take the X-Files out. So it's my story. And it's also a story I wrote when I was in a writing class. I went and did a course, and it's a story I wrote, and I've combined it with Lost Within, the metaphysical sort of stuff, and is the person I'm talking about dead or reborn or what? It's all very, very metaphysical and quantum entanglement that I love writing about.
I love that. I love that shit.
Obviously, that's what David likes, because he likes my fiction. So that's all like that. Well, you probably would like the new one then, Apocalypsis, because this is one where I've got Mulder on the spaceship.
Send me whatever it is that you feel comfortable.
I've sent him. I've sent you the links to it all.
And also, well,
and I'm going to read yours. I'm going to read yours.
Thank you. Well, yes, we'll swap fanfics. Tell our, like I said, Penny is, and Penny has been telling that herself. She is an X-Files fanfiction author, a prolific one. Mm-hmm. So why don't you tell us where our listeners can find your stories?
Okay, you can find my fiction at it's what's it called? It begins with A. I forgot. AO3.
Archive of Our Own.
That one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all there. And also, I can give you a website. A blog I created. Hang on, it's pensxfblog.com. Right. Yes. And that will tell you all my adventures of meeting people in X-Files that aren't David. I've met Nick. I've met Nick Lee. I've met Mitch Pileggi. I've met all of them women. I've met Frank Spotnitz. Frank Spotnitz has a copy of My Lost Within. I told Frank David was the first person on the planet to love my writing, and he said, "Wow, that's amazing." And he had a copy of it, so Frank took a copy. And he normally wouldn't take, you can't have unsolicited scripts, but he says in this case, Frank ended up with a copy of my fiction, which was lovely. I didn't know Frank Spotnitz.
Yeah, Frank Spotnitz, meeting him. Yeah, he's such a sweetheart.
Oh, you've met him.
I went at File Fest. He's such a sweetheart.
Yeah. Yeah. I met him at the premiere of I Want to Believe. Chris and he did a separate meeting thing for fans the next day after the movie. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we went to meet them then. And I met him very briefly and got his autograph actually at the premiere. And then when I actually got to have a really good conversation with him was when he came to Manchester, and he did a writing thing. What do you call it? Thing? Oh, great. It was at Salford University where Chris my friend Chris is studying, and so I went along and we met Frank doing this course for students all about how to do script writing, you know,
Yeah.
and using X-Files as an example. But he also talked about his other shows like Man in the High Castle. I've seen some of that.
Right.
I couldn't. He actually stopped after 2 seasons, so I actually did sort of go off it after he wasn't the showrunner
Oh,
anymore.
he's not on it anymore. Well,
no, he was the showrunner for 2 years, I think, or something, for that one. And there's the others I've done. I've seen the others and I can't think of them. Oh dear. But yeah. Yeah. He was talking about Haunted when we met him. I met him in London at the London Comic Con as well. Hang on, was it the same year? No, it wasn't the same year I met David. No, it was the same year I met Mitch. I met Mitch and Nick at that same London Comic Con. That was 2012. That was 2012. That's before. Yeah, that was before David. And I met Frank. He was there with. He did a series called Haunted. And it didn't really take off. Unfortunately, I think he got a season in with the BBC. Then he was going to do it in America. Came of it, unfortunately. So but yeah, that he was talking about Haunted when he was at the Comic Con. But it was when I got to have a really good conversation with him when he was at this one in it was the year after I saw David in Manchester, so that was weird. I see David in Manchester and then I see Frank in Manchester the year after. Yeah, Frank,
it's a nexus.
Right.
It's yeah.
So I didn't think I'd ever share. I mean, Lost Within has now been shared with David and Frank. So I think I've covered my experiences really.
Yeah,
I
mean that's
thank
you
for London.
That.
Well, you know London.
Well, London, London. We've been to London.
I've done London. Yeah, but then that's when I got my 100% confirmation because I got the shock of my life when I said to him. I mean, I took a flipping chance. I can't believe it came out of my mouth. It just came out. It's like I didn't say it. Something made me say it. I just said, you love. I should have said you like. You know, you might like. I went, you love my fiction. Flipping it. He could have said, no, I hate it. Yeah, I said, you love my fiction. And he just went, well, yes, you know I do. And I thought, oh, you crafty little plumbing.
That is so David. That is so David.
Yeah. You know I do. I said, oh, well, okay, then. I've got this final fiction here, Apocalypsis, Quantum Entanglement, Mulder in Hell.
I mean he would love that. He loves torturing Mulder in his own scripts.
Oh, I know. I know. And he loved talking. And this is why he went on Mulder's Refuge, because he was wanting to read the fans fiction in this website because we centered on MT, Mulder torture. That was the theme. And so I think that's why it attracted into that story. Watching this horrible, seeing what we could do to him in the most horrific, horrible way. And
I love that
Pete was talking about it on he was talking about it online. No, Pete was talking about it online to him. Underwell. Couldn't say it was him, you see, but we're this undercover guy. So we were acting like it was him, and he wasn't not acting like it wasn't him. But then he was sort of it was crazy. But we were just constantly teasing, you know. And nobody would ever directly say, "Oh, I know you're David Duchovny." Oh, somebody did once actually. I wasn't there. I wasn't involved. It was the year before, and he actually said, "David Duchovny? No, that's not me." That was the year before I joined. But Pete was on with him, and they were just teasing. Oh, they were getting so disgusting. Typical fellas. Yeah. I said, you guys got one thing on your mind.
Well, you're not wrong.
Like, you male guys. Oh god. Oh, it was so. I mean, with Pete in there, it got absolutely crackers those chats.
Yeah, I've read some of those chats. Yeah.
He like my husband in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had another guy in there called Chris. He was only 18.
Oh my God.
So yeah. Yeah. No, so when Pete was in, an adult, no holds barred. I remember those chats. I was laughing so much. And
Oh my God.
David said once, he said he laughs so much his sides hurt, his sides split. Yeah. So we'd found a real it was weird. It was called Mulder's Refuge, and he'd actually found a
Mother's
refuge in
Yeah,
this
he
website.
did.
Because we couldn't say it was him, and we weren't
Yeah.
sure exactly what, we could just chat about anything, and
Yeah.
you weren't like going, "Oh, we love you in the X Files. Oh, we love you in this."
Just talk like people. Just talk like regular people. Yeah.
Well, what I have learned, I mean, I did used to be a Gaga fan when I was in my teens, you know, and but as I got to know the people and actually talk to people, you know, that I'd seen on my screen and then got to meet them, you know, they're normal human beings. Treat them like that.
Yes, treat them like absolutely normal.
And I know for a fact,
yeah,
most of it, I can't speak up for David, but I know for a fact, I know from John that I knew on Quantum Leap, they get, you know, it's sort of uncomfortable. It's not nice to be. Yeah, they're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Of course, it's going to be nice and charming, but they're probably thinking, "Oh God, I wish you'd go away." You know, sometimes it's too much. But yeah, they're like, "Please talk about something else." Well, actually, if you see, I made a DVD of the London gig. I found some of them when I was down at the front. There was a guy right behind me. He was recording some of it. So I've got that footage. It's on YouTube. And then I've found other songs that he did at our concert, but he's done them in Holland and he's done them in Paris because they weren't recorded at our London one. But I found them all and I've put them all on a DVD. So I've made a little DVD for myself. And
that's really cool. Listen, Penny, we have 3 minutes left and we've been talking for almost 2 hours.
Well, it's been lovely to meet you again.
Because I mean, I love meeting you again. First of all, meeting you in person. Like I said, I was a little starstruck because we've talked on Twitter for so long. Thank you so much for coming on my show. You've been my second guest on the show, and it's just so, I mean, I just feel so like honored and feel like so elated to have people over and, you know, interviewing them and just talking to my friends about the X-Files. This has been a blast. Thank you so much.
I love it. It's been great to meet you again, honey. I'm so glad we got to meet.
Me too.
And in London as well.
Awesome. Yes, we'll meet again. Another
gig,
will. Another event.
I'd love to Zoom with you.
We will.
Absolutely. Yes. Take care.
Take care, Penny. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you, Penny. And I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of Fandom X Archive, where we got to sit down and talk to one of the veteran X-Files fans and fanfiction authors, Penny Evans. She really is a celebrity in the fandom in her own right, and you can read her fanfiction at Archive of Our Own. I will link the stories, I will link her profile in the description of this episode. You can also go and visit her blog. I will also post the link to the blog. She just released her own story of her trip to London, where she talks about meeting David, but she also mentions yours truly. And it was actually the first time anyone mentioned me in a blog post before, so that was a little bit of a mind F. So you can go and read that story. Penny is just this warm, wonderful presence, and I can't wait to have her back on the show. Speaking of the show, can you believe I have been doing this since May? So yeah, that's 6 episodes. And the next episode, now I'm doing 2 episodes this month. but that's because this one was running a little long, and also I wanted to sort of have a season finale, and this just doesn't feel like a finale. So next Friday, the 29th of December, I will be live streaming season 1 finale of Phantom X Archive. I will post the link to my Twitch channel. I am on Twitch now, and I will be live streaming, and this will be, of course, it'll be a recap of the year that's been, of the first season. But also, and I think this is what most of you will want to hear about, I will be talking about my trip to London and meeting David Duchovny. All about that. So how I got to London, who I met, the friends I've met. It was just, I'll give you like a little sneak peek. I have met so many X-Files fans that I have been following, but also the ones I've already met. So it was sort of a mini X-Files fan reunion. And of course, David Duchovny. But we'll talk about that in the next episode, which I will be live streaming on Twitch next Friday at 10 p.m. Central European Time. Figure it out what that translates to in your own time zones. I am not good at this, but Central European Time, 10 p.m. And I guess we should just call it a day. Thank you again, Penny. Thank you guys for listening. Oh, before I forget, I promised I would tell you about my other podcast that I'm starting. So, I love doing podcasts, as you can tell. I am going to launch a podcast that is called Dinara After Dark. Basically, it will be me talking about my life. I have so many projects going on. I have so many thoughts I want to share. There's just so much going on. And I feel like I want to talk about it. And instead of just doing separate projects for separate blogs for each project, I can just talk about everything on my podcast. So we will talk about my job search. We'll talk about me going back to school. No spoilers. We'll talk about my novel and all the other things. It will be called Dinara After Dark because I want to give it a little of a mysterious flair. So that will be launched. I will launch it next year. I don't have the date yet. And right now I am working on the logo, because I'm doing my own logos. So that's been a lot of fun. So I will announce when that podcast will be out. Anyway, thank you so much for this year, or I don't know, it wasn't a full year, but we'll say our goodbyes for the season in the next episode. And I wish you all a Merry Christmas, and I want you to stay safe, and I want you to take care of yourselves and take care of each other, your loved ones, your pets. And I will see you next week. Bye.